All right, I'll transition over to another. We've started off with players in our team, and rightfully so. We obviously watch these players a lot, and my player is Michael Porter Jr., another sort of high um, potential guy, someone who was frustrating in terms of his minutes played. Someone who I'm a little bit less keen on and less excited by than Chris Boucher. I've seen the potential of Chris Boucher, and there's less of a barrier to him getting minutes, in my opinion. Michael Porter Jr. is a bit of a head case. He's shown flashes this season and to finish last season on what he can do, but it looks like he is, until Gary Harris was injured and we had Jamal Murray injured for a game or two, he was coming off the bench. Right now, he's been starting the last few games, but even in those starting lineups, he hasn't been very impressive. 34 minutes, 8 points, 9 rebounds. Last game, 27 minutes, 8 points, 7 rebounds. Look, he's getting you a 3.5 in those 2 games and good, decent defensive percentages, low turnovers, but it's nothing really to be excited about. On the season, he's ranked 36, but to me, that's a bit of a false number. I feel like he's not been that good, and that is highly inflated by, number one, his percentages, field goal and free throw, and also the turnovers. I guess we're also talking about another punt assist here, guys. He's averaging less than 1 assist, which is extremely hard to do. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on Michael Porter Jr.? I know a lot of people are getting frustrated with him. My advice would be still to hold, and obviously don't trade him because you'd be trading him at his floor, but there are some red flags.
Yeah, there are red flags. He is a very unique player. Those assists. I mean, you're playing 26 minutes a game and you're putting up less than an assist a game.
That's
That's
terrible.
very hard to do.
Yeah.
When you punt turnovers, he drops about 15 to 20 ranks, which isn't a good sign either. But I
Yeah.
guess, look, he does take care of the ball. I feel like regardless, if he does get his points up, he still will maintain a
Mm.
good, turnover rate. So he really just needs to get the points up. Like Nikola Jokic has been absolutely cooking so far. Like he put up 50 points a few days ago,
Yeah.
and just because of his usage going through the roof, Michael Porter Jr. just hasn't really had the usage. I think that's the main problem for him because we know when we pass it to him, he's not really going to do much except for really shoot.
Oh, he's going to get it up.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
he's in a weird role. The defensive stats are okay as well for the season. He's got that 1 steal, 1 block. Um, the field
Yeah.
goal, apparently he's putting up about 11 attempts a game and he's shooting 50%. So, but
It's
I
it's
feel
been
like,
very up and down. Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing.
When he's
He's one
been
of those
hot.
players similar to Boucher where it's really sporadic.
Yeah.
He'll have like, he can be okay in a week to week league where it's like 1 week he could perform awesome and you're going to win. But,
Yeah.
maybe 2 times out of, 2 weeks out of 3 weeks, he's just underperforming and not
Yeah.
really a huge asset for your team.
Different to Boucher. When Boucher has been given the minutes, every single time he's been given the minutes, he's performed, and that's literally the only thing holding him back. Michael Porter Jr. has not shown that he is. There's been games where he's been given the minutes and he hasn't performed. He shot 27%. Um, you know, 0 assists. Like the fact that this man just doesn't get any assists is not good for his playing time. Not like sure, if you're punting assists and it doesn't matter for your fantasy team, but what it does matter is him staying on the court. And if you have a selfish kind of player on the court who's literally not averaging an assist a game, the coach is not going to want to put you out there, and that's going to affect your fantasy stats because if he's not on the court, he can't produce, he can't get his points, he can't get his blocks and steals and threes. So I worry about his, you know, Denver Nuggets. They have aspirations to be a title contender. So if they feel like he is not contributing to winning basketball, and I think the last few games there's been some chatter. Nikola Jokic sort of criticized him on the recent sort of game, and those sort of comments are what concern me the most. The fact that there's a little bit of friction in the team, and perhaps this will not bode well for his minutes moving forward. Maybe he is going to remain on the bench the rest of the season and just sort of jack up shots when Gary Harris is back, and he'll be behind players like Will Barton, and sometimes even JaMychal Green was playing ahead of him. Which, I don't know about you, but that's a red flag if I've ever seen one. If JaMychal Green could get more minutes than you. So, yeah, someone who I am concerned about. But again, you holding him, he's super talented. And if he does figure it out and get his head right, he can be, just by the nature of his game, he could be a top 40 player. But I am a bit concerned about him moving forward. And if someone believes in the ranking, I would definitely execute a trade to get any sort of top 50 value back if you could, because I don't think his value is reflective of what he's actually doing.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think, yeah, there is still that ceiling. You can also make that sell. Like he could still do better. He hasn't reached his potential this season, so there is a market out there for him.
I mean, in saying that, like he hasn't been playing well. He's only averaging 26 minutes a game, and yet he's still the 36th ranked player on Yahoo. So, look, this is the bad Michael Porter Jr. with a little bit of good in there. So imagine if he does click and start going and playing well, he could be genuinely a top 20 kind of player. But I'm not very confident that he's going to get there. It could happen, but I'm starting to lose faith. And obviously he's on my team, so not too happy about that.